The scent of burnt garlic and singed onion hung in the air of the Garcia kitchen, a familiar ghost of rushed dinners. Tonight, it mingled with the tang of simmering tomatillos for Grandma Rosa's salsa verde. At the stove, 17-year-old Maya stirred the pot with a ferocity it didn't deserve, her headphones blasting a furious, percussive beat into her skull. Each clatter of a pan from her mother, Elena, at the counter, sounded like a personal affront. "Maya, mija, the music," Elena said, not for the first time, her voice a thin wire of exhaustion. She was chopping cilantro, her movements quick and precise, a contrast to the dark circles under her eyes. A long shift at the hospital, then the frantic ballet of evening, helping 10-year-old Mateo with his dinosaur diorama, fielding a call from the mortgage company, now this. Maya yanked one earbud out. "What?" "It's too loud. We can all hear it, and you're stirring like you're punishing the tomatillos." "Maybe they deserve it," Maya muttered, but lowered the volume. The silence that rushed in was worse. It was filled with the hum of the old refrigerator, the distant blare of a car horn from the street, and the thick, unspoken weight of everything. The B in chemistry that felt like a failure, the way her best friend Sophia had looked at her at lunch, a mix of pity and irritation, the college applications looming like storm clouds, the crushing sense that in this bustling, noisy house, she was utterly, invisibly alone. At the small kitchen table, her father, Carlos, was half-heartedly pretending to check work emails on his phone, but his eyes were on his wife's tense shoulders. He was a broad, quiet man who spoke with his hands, fixing a leaky faucet, rubbing Elena's neck, building Mateo's diorama base. Words often failed him. Mateo, perched on a stool, was carefully painting a tiny brachiosaurus forest green. "Maya," he announced, "my brachiosaurus is going to be named Pepe, and he's going to eat all your salsa verde because it's gross and green." Normally, Maya would have shot back a tease. Tonight, the comment was a spark landing on dry tinder. "It's not gross, it's authentic. And don't touch it, you'll just ruin it like you ruin everything." The words hung, sharp and ugly. Elena's knife stilled. Carlos looked up, his brows drawn. Mateo's lower lip trembled, his paintbrush hovering over Pepe's back. "Maya," Elena said, her voice dangerously low, "apologize to your brother. Now." The pressure that had been building in Maya's chest all week, all month, boiled over. It wasn't about Mateo. It was about the noise, the expectations, the sheer smothering effort of being. Why? So he can learn to be oversensitive like everyone else? It was a joke. God, can't anyone in this house take a joke? She turned back to the stove, a gesture of dismissal. She heard her mother's sharp intake of breath, the slide of the chair as Carlos began to rise, and then a hand gripped her shoulder, spinning her around. The slap wasn't hard. It was more a stinging, shocking tap against her cheekbone, a physical exclamation point to a sentence of pure maternal frustration. But in the silent kitchen, it echoed like a thunderclap. Time fractured. Maya's hand flew to her cheek, her eyes wide with a betrayal so profound it stole her breath. Elena looked instantly horrified, her own hand recoiling as if burned. Carlos froze, half out of his chair. And in the terrible, suspended silence, Mateo, confused, scared, and seeking any resolution to the terrifying tension, let out a single, nervous, choked clap. It was one clap, a tiny, spastic sound, followed by immediate, tearful regret. "I'm sorry, I didn't mean to. It was like on TV when they fight and then stop." But it was too late. The damage was cosmic. Maya's gaze swept from her mother's ashen face to her brother's tear-streaked one, and finally to her father. And there, on his face, was not anger, not comfort, but a fleeting, unmistakable smirk. A quick, involuntary twist of the lips, born of sheer, bewildered absurdity, the surreal comedy of the moment crashing against the tragedy. He wiped it away instantly, his expression softening into concern. "Maya." It was the smirk that did it, the final seal on her isolation, the proof that in the theater of her family, she was not the tragic heroine, but the ridiculous side character. The slap was fire, the clap was salt, but the ice was the seal that sealed her heart. She didn't say a word. She just walked out of the kitchen, past the living room where her abuela Rosa napped softly in her armchair, a crochet blanket over her knees, and up the stairs to her room. The door didn't slam, it clicked shut, with a terrible final softness. Downstairs, the aftermath was a landscape of ruin. Elena sank into a chair, burying her face in her hands. "I hit my daughter," she whispered, the words muffled and monstrous. "Dios mío, I hit her." Carlos was beside her, his large hand on her back. "She'll come around. It was a crazy moment. You're exhausted. She's stressed." "That is no excuse. Nunca, never. My mother never." She glanced toward the living room, grateful for the soft snores. Mateo was sobbing quietly, green paint smeared on his cheek. "I made it worse. I always make it worse." Upstairs, Maya lay on her bed, staring at the constellation of glow-in-the-dark stars stuck to her ceiling since she was 9. The sting on her cheek was gone, but a colder, deeper ache had taken root. The caption that had been looping in her head for weeks crystallized, perfect and terrible. "Mom slapped me, my brother clapped, Dad smirked." It felt like the title of the last chapter of her life here. The house settled into a suffocating quiet. Dinner was abandoned. Carlos made Mateo a peanut butter sandwich and put him to bed. Elena cleaned the already clean kitchen, her movements robotic. The salsa verde cooled in its pot, forgotten. Later, in the deep blue of night, Maya lay awake. The hopelessness was a physical weight, pinning her to the mattress. The thought of facing tomorrow, the silent breakfast, the pitying looks at school, the mountain of unmanageable things was untenable. She had a plan, a way to end the overwhelming noise, the constant pressure, the feeling of being a guest in her own life. It sat in the back of her mind, cold and clear. But first, a strange, rebellious thought surfaced. If this was truly the end, she would make 3 calls. Not to say goodbye, that was too dramatic, too obvious, just to hear some voices from the outside, to touch the world one last time before she let it go. A final, quiet experiment in connection. She picked up her phone, her fingers numb. Call 1. She scrolled to Tia Lena, her mother's younger sister, who lived 3 time zones away in California. The phone rang for a long time. Maya was about to hang up when a sleepy, warm voice answered. "Maya? Cielito, is everything okay? Do you know what time it is?" "Yeah, sorry, Tia, I just couldn't sleep." A pause, filled with the rustle of sheets. "Okay, so talk to me. Tell me what's keeping you up in the middle of the night." And Maya did. Not everything, but the edges of it. The stress, the feeling of being trapped, the fight. She didn't mention the slap, but she said, "I just feel like I'm letting everyone down, and like no one at home really sees me." Tia Lena listened, really listened. "Mija," she sighed. "You know, when your mom was your age, she was exactly the same, all fire and fear. She wanted to be a doctor, and Abuelo said it was too hard, too expensive. She cried for a week. I remember she threw a platano at my head. Now look at her. She's the strongest person I know. She sees you, Maya. She sees herself in you. That's why it's so hard. You're her heart walking around outside her body." Maya blinked in the dark, a lump forming in her throat. "I hit me," she whispered, the confession tearing itself free. A longer pause. "Oh, cariño, that's not her. That's the tired, scared ghost of her. You have to forgive her. Not for her, for you. The weight of that anger is too heavy to carry." Tia Lena yawned. "Now, promise me you'll try to sleep, and call me tomorrow in the daylight, okay? We'll talk about those colleges. I have ideas." Call 2. She dialed her old friend Jake, who'd moved to Colorado last year. He answered on the first ring, video game sounds blaring in the background. "Maya, dude, what's up? You never call." They talked about nothing: the new season of a show, a ridiculous meme, his new obsession with snowboarding. It was light, easy. Then he said, "Hey, you sound kind of down. Everything cool with you and Sophia? You guys were like a package deal." Maya's eyes welled up. "We had a fight. I think I've been a bad friend, self-absorbed." Jake laughed, not unkindly. "Well, yeah, aren't we all sometimes? Remember when I forgot your birthday because I was obsessed with getting that gaming console? You forgave me. Just call her. Say sorry. She misses you, I bet. We all miss you. The group chat is lame without your savage commentary."
She hesitated. Then she dialed the number for Abuela Rosa's old landline, the one that rang on the little table next to her armchair downstairs. She knew her grandmother turned her hearing aid off at night. She just wanted to hear the old recorded greeting in her abuela's voice. "You have reached the home of Rosa Flores. Leave a message for the sunshine." But on the second ring, a soft, clear voice answered. "Allo? Abuela? It's Maya. Why are you awake? Why do you have your hearing aid in?" "Mijita, an old woman doesn't sleep, she waits. And my ears, they knew my Maya would call. I felt it in my bones." There was a smile in her voice. Tears spilled freely now, hot and silent. "Abuela, I'm so lost." "Ven acá," she said. "Come here." Not a question, an invitation. "It's late. For you, maybe. For me, it's time for cafecito. I'm in the kitchen." Maya crept downstairs. The house was dark, save for a pool of warm light from the kitchen. Abuela Rosa was at the small table, 2 steaming mugs of café con leche before her. The burnt onion air was gone, replaced by the comforting smells of warm milk, cinnamon, and the faint, always present scent of Abuela's rosewater lotion. Maya sat. Her grandmother's hands, mapped with rivers of blue veins and spots of time, covered hers. They were cool and papery, yet infinitely strong. "Tell me," Abuela said, and Maya told her everything. The slap, the clap, the smirk, the crushing weight of the future, the loneliness in the crowded house. Abuela Rosa listened, her dark eyes soft. She took a slow sip of her coffee. "Your mother, she carries too much. The hospital, the bills, the fear for you. She forgets that love is not a perfect thing. It is a messy, tired thing. It trips and falls. It slaps sometimes when it means to caress." She reached over and gently touched Maya's cheek. "But it always, always comes back to say it is sorry." "And Dad?" He smiled. "Your father smiles when he is nervous, when he does not know how to fix a leak with his hands. He was smiling at the madness of life, not at you, Preciosa." "And Mateo?" Abuela chuckled. "He is a little boy who sees fights end with handshakes on his cartoons. He was trying to make the peace. A clumsy, beautiful try." She pushed the other mug toward Maya. "Drink, this is the medicine." They sat in silence for a while. Then Abuela said, "You know, when I was a girl in Puebla, my family was very poor. Some days, all we had to eat were frijoles. I would cry from hunger. My mother, your bisabuela, would sit me on her lap and say, 'Rosa, look at the beans. See how plain? But inside, they have everything to keep you strong. They are humble, but they are resilient. And when you cook them with enough time and a little onion and a lot of love, they become the most delicious thing in the world.'" She looked around the kitchen. "This family, we are like those frijoles. A little plain sometimes, maybe a little burnt tonight." She smiled. "But we have everything we need inside, and we are still cooking. We need more time and a little more onion and a lot more love." The metaphor was simple, silly even, but in the quiet midnight kitchen, it felt like a truth more profound than any Maya had learned in school. The pressure didn't vanish, but its nature changed. It wasn't a weight meant to crush her. It was the heat that was helping them all, slowly, become something. The back door opened softly. Elena stood there, still in her work clothes, her eyes red-rimmed and desperate. She'd been sitting on the back steps. She saw Maya, and a fresh wave of pain crossed her face. Abuela Rosa stood up slowly. "I am going to bed now. My bones are done waiting." She kissed Maya's forehead and shuffled out, a hand briefly squeezing Elena's arm as she passed. Mother and daughter were alone. Elena didn't move from the doorway. "I have never in my life," she began, her voice breaking. "I am so sorry, Maya. There is no excuse. I am just so sorry." Maya looked at her mother, really looked. She saw the exhaustion, the fear, the woman who carried hospitals and mortgages and the ghost of her own father's doubts. She saw Tia Lena's sister, the girl who threw a plantain. She saw Abuela's daughter. "I'm sorry too," Maya said, the words scratching out. "I was horrible to Mateo. I've been horrible." Elena rushed forward then, not to hug her, but to kneel by her chair, taking her hands, just as Abuela had. "You are not horrible. You are 17, and it is hard. I forget how hard. I get so caught up in the doing of life, I forget the feeling of it." From the doorway, a small voice said, "Is it okay now?" Mateo stood there in his dinosaur pajamas, Pepe the Brachiosaurus clutched in his hand. Carlos was behind him, a hand on his shoulder. He looked at Maya, his expression open, raw with regret. The smirk, Maya, "It's okay, Dad," Maya said, and found she meant it. "Can we have the salsa verde now? I'm hungry, and Pepe is sorry he said it was gross." A laugh bubbled up in Maya's chest, shaky and real. It was the most ridiculous, perfect thing. "It's probably ruined. I left it on the stove." Elena stood, wiping her eyes. "Then we'll make more, together, right now." And they did. At 1:17 a.m., the Garcia kitchen came alive again. Carlos brought out chips and cheese. Elena washed new tomatillos. Maya chopped onions, her eyes streaming for a new reason. Mateo set the table, placing Pepe proudly in the center as a centerpiece. They sat around the table, the overhead light too bright, their faces puffy and tired, eating slightly too salty, absolutely perfect salsa verde and chips. They didn't talk about college or bills or grades. They talked about nothing. About a movie Carlos wanted to see. About the bizarre sound Mateo's science teacher made when he sneezed. About Abuela Rosa's legendary fight with a telemarketer earlier that day. It wasn't magically fixed. The B- was still there. Sophia would still need a conversation. The future was still a vast, terrifying unknown. But the thread, the fragile golden thread of connection that had nearly snapped, was now held by 4 pairs of hands and reinforced by the gentle, unwavering strength of the woman snoring softly in the next room.